July 2025, which means we made it. We survived the first 6 months of the year. I have no idea how we did that. No, I'm being so for real. Like, really, how did we make it? Nonetheless, we made it and you're here. So thank you so much again for tuning in. Let's check in with each other really fast. So we checked in February, which maybe it seemed a little bit premature, right? But there were so many pairs that dropped January and February that some even realized like, oh my goodness, I've spent already like $1,000, $2,000 on sneakers. Now, let's be very clear. That's all subjective. It's all relative to your income. There's nothing wrong with having spent that if you can easily afford it. There's nothing wrong with having spent that. If you like had it in your budget, I am dropping this money on these pairs. They are important to me. I've been waiting for a really long time. I can't wait to wear them and enjoy them. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's just set that tone right there, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Now, if you're someone where you had very specific goals heading into 2025, and maybe those goals didn't quite involve you being on that high of spending trajectory, then okay, it's not the end of the world. Just take a step back. That's why it's really good to check in with yourself, right? You could have checked in February and realized, okay, maybe I need to pull back. Okay, so now we're a few months later. How did you do? Because you may have had a list of pairs you really wanted. And listen, let's be real. When you take a L, your mind does one of two things. Oh, that's money that I can put towards something else, maybe another upcoming shoe, or that's money that I can spend on any number of things, right? So if you had that list of the pairs you wanted to hit, first off, how successful were you? Because I think we're in a pretty good place with sneakers right now where you're able to more easily get the pairs that you want. Accessibility is there for some, not for all things, right? We all remember the 85 bread. So for some things, accessibility is there. It's not going to be present for all things. It's never been like that. But I am really happy to see people say, hey, like I can't wait to walk into a store and buy a pair that I've been wanting for a very long time. I was able to do that with the A1, okay? You couldn't tell me that wasn't the greatest thing in recent years for me to be able to just walk in and get a pair that I want. So if you were able to be successful, like just go ahead, like let me know, like what's that batting average right now? Okay, what's that field goal percentage right now? If you were shooting on the court. So go ahead and run that down. And then let's just shift a little bit because maybe you had some financial goals, and trust me, this is the point where you're just like, you may feel guilty that you're not really hitting them. And again, maybe you're not on track. Please don't. Like, and I'm somebody that has harbored that and has been hard on themselves at times. Don't. Now, I will say your actual habits will show like what's a priority for you, right? So we can put something down on paper, but that's not showing where our actual like goals are. Your goals really are reflected in your habits. And a lot of times for us to figure out our habits, we have to like look at the credit card statement, we have to look at our checking account, and then we'll be able to see like where your money is going. That ends up being the actual priority. And it's just based on habits, right? It's a hard habit to break, to not just buy something because you can, because the money is there, right? For a lot of us, the money is just there. And so you're an adult, there's no one to really tell you what to do with it after you pay your bills. So you're like, oh my goodness, what do you mean this is on sale? What do you mean that dropped? I have so many people I follow online that are, avid, very big Age of Wilson fans, okay? They're looking at sis like, can you stop? Between Beyonce and A1's dropping, they are in shambles because she's dropping colorway after colorway after colorway. I mean, I'm sure you guys saw like the Azure pair that was just for the kids. Of course, she had the three original pairs, the three colorways that came out. You had Leo Lights, you had Indigo Girl, you had the OG Pearl, you had Pink Aura, which I have two of those back there. And then she's moved on. So kids are sometimes getting their own exclusive sizing pairs, which is great. Like A loves the kids, which is amazing. But also if you have a smaller foot, you can go ahead and enjoy them. And of course, it's at a little bit of a lower price point. So that's never a bad thing. And then she's come out with like Topaz is going to come out. There's so many different pairs. Okay. Unapologetic also was a colorway that came out. And the purple and pink together is gorgeous. The gold accent on the swoosh is gorgeous as well. I'm quite proud of myself that I am not like rushing out to just get every single one because it's easy for me to be able to do, but I'm holding back. And it's mainly because I did set that goal for myself to like, can you not buy more than 6 pairs in a year? That's not to say more than 6 won't be added because they have been. And we'll get to that, okay? Forever blessed for anything given or gifted by family, friends, loved ones, brands, doesn't matter. But I set that goal for myself. I really want to be able to hit that where I'm not spending money on more than 6 pairs for the year. So that means I can't go out and buy every single pair of A1s when I've already spent money on, like the P6000, And then we'll also talk about maybe another thing that's coming to the channel soon, but check in there. So yeah, I knew where I wanted to be, and so holding off on that. But like, again, if you're a fan of someone and what they're dropping, either it's been very long awaited for you or all of these colors are speaking to you, right? You can look in your closet right now and you know without a doubt those pairs will get some wear. Again, that doesn't end up meaning it's a bad thing that you spent on those pairs. What it may mean, though, is you may have to adjust some of those habits as we hit the second half, this second stretch of 2025, to be able to hit all the other goals, right? Like I mentioned net worth earlier on at the start of the year, because I do think that's a really important number to keep track of. And sometimes your net worth can continue to grow. It can be at its highest even when you're making less money. It's all about how you're actually choosing to use the income that you have. You know, have you improved your debt to income ratio? Maybe you've paid down quite a bit of debt. And so even if your income has regressed some, your net worth could still be going up, because if you're consistently still investing, but you've also decreased your debt, which means payments are no longer going towards the debt. So you could allocate the payments that were going towards that debt. Now that can just go towards everyday life expenses. So again, even if you start to make less income, right? Maybe you have multiple sources and they're not as high as what they were in the past. That may be okay. You're better able to kind of mitigate that income going down, but you're still good. You're still comfortable. You're still doing the things you need to do. You're doing the things you would like to do. And you have a really good sense, I think, of stability. Like that's all I could certainly hope for anyone. So check in terms of your net worth. Where is it? Because it's awesome to be able to see, hey, my net worth has jumped by this amount, and I've actually spent only maybe this amount, a much smaller percentage, towards the things that I really want to enjoy. Because life is short. Like I am not the person that's like, hey, no buy. I don't know that I would ever commit to like a no buy. I don't know that, because that is, it's a lot of restraint there. Okay. And sometimes no buys, they end up being kind of like very strict diets, and it's why people end up just like binging on a ton of indulgent foods, because they've pretty much been told you can't have anything that you really, really like. That's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow. It really is. So I've never stated I was going to go on a no buy, certainly changing how I've bought sneakers and clothing, but yeah, not a no buy in any way. So take a look at that net worth. Did you have a goal for the year? And I'll just share, like, not sharing numbers, but like I'm on track to be able to hit my goal. Like my net worth has grown 19% in this year. I am beyond grateful for that. And in terms of the spending I did in the first half, if we're incorporating sneakers and clothing, and I'm talking like accessories and socks and everything else, because I do keep track of that, a little bit higher than maybe I would have wanted it to have been. And I've certainly gotten some things that, trust me, I don't need, right? Like I tried to pull back on sweatshirts. Sweatshirts were purchased. It could have been from deals. It could have been from long awaited wish list, but sweatshirts were purchased because I still have a problem. Okay, let me just be clear. I clown myself all the time. Okay, so if you're trying to do it in the comments, I clown myself all the time because I am still a work in progress and trying to get it together. So yeah, when it comes to your net worth, just checking on how that's going, right? And again, that's your assets and capital, everything that's an asset minus your liabilities, and then that will give you what your actual net worth is. So as long as that is continuing to grow, which it can grow at a very easy, passive, laid-back pace by you just investing within the market, right? S&P 500. Although I will say, I've given Nike a lot of grief this year, but their stock price is at its highest point it's been at since March of 2025. So I'm actually quite proud of Nike right now and everything that they're doing. Listen, they are trying to bounce back. They really are. I think they'll start moving in that right direction. I think maybe they have been challenged more than ever, but you know what? A brand being challenged can really put, it can help us as consumers see some amazing things come from them. So a last minute check-in we're going to do here, okay? It's easier for me to put up on the screen here which pairs I've gotten rid of. And I mean gotten rid of in terms of I could have sold these pairs, I could have given them to friends, I could have donated them. These are the pairs I've gotten rid of. They'll be on the screen here, okay? Just so we can run them down. And I feel like that's a step in the right direction, right? Maybe that feels like 3 steps in the right direction because, I am trying to downsize my collection a lot. I'm still so jealous of so many of you when you're like, I'm already down to 50. I've only got 75. I dream of that. I really do. I dream of that. The reason I'm going about it as methodically as I am, because I don't want to have gotten rid of a pair and then feel some kind of way about it. And so doing it at this pace, it feels a little bit better. Okay, so you've seen the pairs I've gotten rid of. and gotten rid of, or they're on deck to be gotten rid of, right? There are a number of pairs that are sitting off to the side where if they don't end up selling by like mid-July, I'll probably just end up donating them. My patience is running thin on that. But let's just talk about the pairs that I've actually added to the collection. I could have purchased these, or they could have been gifted, and I will make sure the thumbnails are on here so you guys can actually check out those videos if you would like, you know, to be able to see my full thoughts and how I choose to style almost all of these. There's only like one or two or something that I didn't style. So Shake's Crazy Infinity collaborations for the Twilight pairs. So both pairs, there was the regular GR release and then there was the Friends and Family release. So you guys can certainly be able to check those out. Still some of the, I think the most refreshing pairs that we've seen in 2025. And then the metallic, the P6000, which I get so many questions on that when I wear that out. So shout out to that. The New Balance, the 991 V2 Dove Silver, which of course you guys know up there. And then the 992 right over there at Nimbus Cloud, which I just wore that the other day. My A1s. What a time. Okay, so Pink Aura and the OG Pearl. I have restrained myself from any others. Although I did see a Sequoia teased. I think so far that's only in like GS sizing. But I'm trying to pace myself with A1s. Like, they're going to push out as many A1s, I feel like, as they do Sabrina. So I have time to be able to get things that I would like. The New Balance 740, so that was a gift as well. The Adidas Evo SL, so I run in the Crystal Jade pair. I also have the black and the silver pair. The Brooks Cascadia 1, you guys were able to see that full video. Again, I really appreciate the positive feedback on that, it being something we don't see on the timeline every day. I briefly showed the Ghost Max 2. It's a sneaker that I run in a lot. Super, super comfortable. And then I have one that may be coming to the channel very soon. I think the way I'll structure that video will be a little bit different than maybe just like a traditional format that you guys see me unbox a pair. But it sometimes feels like I've taken some steps forward and then like some steps back, and yet still I'm so beyond grateful and appreciative for the pairs that I've added to the collection in 2025. And to always see friends win. Like, who isn't happy for that? Oh, and I think I forgot to mention, my bad, sorry, 414 Day Part 2. Both pairs are here as well. So, all right, that's it. So you've seen the number of pairs I've gotten rid of, and then the pairs that have come in, and there will be a surprise that'll come to the channel. I promise you it is absolutely positively nothing hyped in any way, okay? It's just a pair that I was really interested in. But please just go ahead and run down, like, how have you done this year? How many pairs have you added? How many pairs have you possibly gotten rid of, if you're keeping track? And then what are the top 2 pairs that you're looking forward to end the year? Like, we're entering this second half. We don't see everything revealed yet. But if there were only 2 pairs that you could get, then you would be so beyond content for the rest of the year, maybe even heading into 2026. Comment what those pairs would be. Because, like, I know that I've said that the one retro that's catching my eye is the Chicago 1 Low. That's where it's still standing, like just that one. And then I'm like on the fence about some other pairs. I really am. So I'm just trying to be patient and really just see like what's going to be that winner. Okay. Because I'm not going over 6. I'm committing to only buying 6 pairs this year, okay? But really, I appreciate you guys tuning in to any and all videos that you do. Never take it for granted. So listen, and you don't ever have to just subscribe. Just go ahead and like the video if you did like any part of it. Again, thanks for your time. As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.